Hello again, Multiverse scripters. In this video, it's not going to be a sequential video. We're not going to learn something really new in the sequence of things to learn. We're actually going to just review how to write a trigger condition for triggered abilities because I didn't quite explain it fully, and it can seem a little confusing, so I just want to kind of go over it again and go a little bit more in depth this time about how the engine finds them and how it responds to them. So the card we're going to make to do this is Sun Titan because he's got a triggered ability, and it's kind of two different triggered abilities in one. It has two trigger conditions even though it's only one ability on the card. I've already typed in his general information over here on the left, so if you need to do that you can go ahead and pause it. And there actually is something new that we're going to learn today. It's not triggered abilities. We're going to learn about keywords very briefly. A keyword in this engine, unlike a keyword in Magic, a keyword in this engine is something that cannot be written as some other kind of ability. So it can't be written as a triggered ability, it can't be written as an activated ability as in the scripting engine. So I actually just put them into the engine and you just put a word on the card. Now to put keywords on something, you make a keywords section. That's a capital K right there. And every keyword is listed in the documentation on the keyword page. This one's actually missing some. I've added a few. But here's a lot of the common ones. So it's flying, first strike, double strike, trample, haste, lifelink. And there's some other ones over here. But those are the keywords that you can use, and vigilance is the one we're going to use here. And all keywords have parentheses. Some of them have some of them have arguments, but vigilance does not. If they have arguments, it'll say in here, for example, can't be blocked by, you need to put the condition and the rules text. But anyway, for Sun Titan, he's just got vigilance. So here's our Sun Titan with vigilance and no other abilities. Now he's going to have two triggered abilities. We could actually make it one, but for simplicity, we're going to make two different ones. Type equals abil trig, trigger condition equals, we'll get back to that later. Target rec 0 equals, and wait. Yeah, not sorcery. Whoops. Is type target sorcery. There isn't a function for something that's a permanent card. There's functions for whether something's a permanent on the battlefield, that is permanent, but there isn't one for a card, so we actually have to use is type, so we make sure it's not a sorcery. And where's the other? That's the not. Okay, and the CMC is less than or equal to 3, and the thing we're comparing is get CMC of target. Okay. I have to stretch this out to see the whole line, but I think that's right. That closes the whole thing. Alright, looks good. Target prompt 0 equals, oh, I actually missed one thing, is in zone, target, graveyard, get var, self controller. So it has to be in your graveyard. So choose target permanent card in your graveyard. Whoops. Oh, I spelled it right. With CMC less than or equal to 3. Okay. The effect is a zone change. This is stuff that we've already learned, so I'm just going to skip through it. Does it come in tapped? I don't remember. Sun Titan. I think it's untapped. Yeah. And rules text equals whenever I'll do the rules text later. Stack text equals missing name equals reanimate. So let's see. We'll do the zone change trigger first. So here's what's going to happen. When you play Sun Titan, he goes on the stack. Eventually when he resolves, what's going to happen is the game is going to send an event, an event that looks something like this. It's going to send a zone change event, and the 3 parameters it's going to send are a card ID. I'm just going to make one up. from stack to battlefield. So this is going to be what the game sends. I mean, not all the time, but the game will send something like this. Card 529 is going to be a different number every time, but you get the idea. It's going to send zone change, the ID of the card, the zone it comes from, the zone it goes to. That's what the game's going to send. So we have to match this with regular expressions, like I said before. So we definitely want to match the zone change trigger, and I'm just going to put spaces in here for now. And the only thing we care about is that it enters the battlefield. So this part is going to be battlefield. We don't care where it comes from. When you don't care about one of these parameters, you just fill it with dot star. Dot star is regular expression, meaning any combination of characters. Okay? So dot star means it will come from anywhere. And the first one, you can never find the ID of a card with the scripting engine. It's just not something you're supposed to do. You have to reference cards with functions. In this case, the only thing we want to care about that's moving zones is this object, the object that's entering, Sun Titan, because this ability's on him, right? So we're just going to replace this with source. Source means whatever this card's ID is, you replace it. So when the game fires off this trigger, it's going to fire off this trigger, and then it's going to check every ability in the game that's active from wherever it's active from. It's going to check every triggered ability in the game, and this is going to be one of them. This is Sun Titan's trigger, which I'm just going to copy paste over here real quick. That's his trigger condition. So what it'll do when it hits this is it'll say, okay, source, that's not a valid thing, so we're going to replace it with whatever this card is. So let's say it's card 529. And this is what the final expression is going to look like. Okay, so the game, remember, this is what the game sends, what Sun Titan's ability turns into. Okay? So the game will go through this string and see if it matches this string. So letter for letter, zone change card 529, comma, is all the same. And then after the second comma, it's battlefield, parentheses, that's all the same. The only thing that's different is stack and dot star, but dot star means anything. It could mean stack, it could mean graveyard, it could mean 16, it could literally mean anything. So this is a match, okay? Now if Sun Titan's already on the battlefield, the game's going to send, let's say he's still card 529. So that's his condition, and now let's say that it sends this event, card 864. Some land that you just played is entering, not from the stack though. So let's say you just played a land a few turns later. So source, Sun Titan is the same card, so it's going to have, it's going to have the same ID. So this is what the events are going to look like in this other example. Okay, so the game's going to go and compare. It's going to see zone change, okay, that's the same. And then it's going to see something different here. It's going to see two different card IDs. So it's going to say this is not matching. This is not Sun Titan's trigger condition. His trigger condition is not that some other card enters, it's that he enters. So we're not going to do its effect. And so that's essentially how the engine handles triggered abilities. It sends a card ID, usually, and then it sends some other parameters, and you have to match it exactly using functions. So you'll never know what the card ID is. This is going to be some function that you put in there. It could be source, if it's the card with the ability. You can use another function, which is what we're going to, not for this card, but for example, when a player casts a spell, you can get the, that's a bad example. I can't think of a good example, but you can put a different function in here to make it trigger off of different things. Okay, so that's Sun Titan's first trigger. We're going to do the second trigger. Let me finish the rules text real quick. Whenever card name enters the battlefield or attacks, return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I think I spelled something wrong. Graveyard. Okay. Did I missed something else, didn't I? No, that's good. Okay. Come on. I'm going to copy the rules text so I don't have to type it again. Alright, ability 1. Oops. Come on. I'm just going to copy the whole thing, because they're really the same ability. So this ability on the bottom is what we're working with now. It's going to have a different trigger condition, but everything else is going to be the same target, same effect. The only thing that's different is we're going to hide the rules text because we don't want this ability showing up twice on the card. This makes it just so that the rules text doesn't appear on the card, because it already appears in the first ability. We're just writing it as 2 different triggers, even though it's really 1. So this thing's trigger condition, you're actually going to have to look up most of them until you become familiar enough with the engine, but you'll see that there's one up here that's called Creature Attacked. Okay, so Creature Attacked. And there are 2 parameters. The first parameter is what's attacking, and the second parameter is the player. Let me go back here. So, what the game sends is going to be Creature Attacked. Let's go with 529 again. Sun Titan attacked, and let's say he attacked player 1. That's what the game's going to send. So Sun Titan's ability is going to have to match it. So we want to match Creature Attacked for sure. And we don't care who he attacks, it just cares that he attacks, so the player is going to be .star. So he can attack any player and trigger. And to get himself, of course, just like the last example, we use source. So when the game checks this ability, when it checks Sun Titan, it says, okay, well there's a function in here, source, so we're going to transform source into what it actually is. It's going to be the source of this ability, which is Sun Titan. And then that's the final thing, and you'll see that, again, it matches. Creature attacked is the same, 529, any player. So it'll trigger when he attacks, but not when anything else attacks. Okay? So his thing is going to be source, any player. And I don't think I have to change it. I could change the stack text, but I'm not going to. Why don't we go ahead and put it into a deck. Alright, so we're gonna get into there. It's gonna download some art for Sun Titan. Main phase 1, I'll play a test land, I'll play another test land. Let's destroy one of them. Let's put Sun Titan into the graveyard. Let's put Ornithopter into the graveyard. Okay, so let's play Sun Titan. So I'm going to try clicking on Sun Titan first, and you'll see it won't let me. I don't think you can see the cursor on the capture, but I'm highlighting Sun Titan and trying to click on it. Nothing's happening because, of course, his mana cost is greater than 3. And then when I try to click on Entomb, again, nothing happens because it's a sorcery, and one of the requirements is that it can't be a sorcery. So we'll click on Ornithopter, and it works. And then he brings back Ornithopter. Let's do another Sun Titan. I'm going to click on Test Land. Oh, he's not in play. Okay, click on Test Land, and he can also get Test Land. Unfortunately, I'm in single player, so I have nobody to attack. We can't test that other trigger. But you can see the text only appears once because the second ability is hiding its rules text. So I hope you now understand better how triggered abilities work in the engine and how to write your own trigger conditions. Yeah, that's it for this one.